Hi, it's Tuesday, September the 8th of 2020. Hopefully everyone had a wonderful, relaxing Labor Day weekend. I know a lot of people took little trips, probably more trips around the local area of Washington State. And some people did go a bit farther. I know a couple of friends who went to New York City and had a good time. So let's go ahead and start with our daily broadcast. Okay, we are going to go ahead and bring up our favorite PowerPoint. Okay, it is Tuesday, September 8th of 2020. Let's see what's up in the news. As you guys know, huge backlash from about Donald Trump and his reported comments in the big article in the Atlantic about 4 days ago, where he called the people that died in World War II. He refused to go to the cemetery in France, and he called them losers. Um, and other disparaging remarks. There are a lot of articles that have come about in the last few days about his comments about military veterans. And also more recently, he said that he blamed like the leadership of the military in this country of basically wanting to continue wars like Afghanistan and Iraq, for years and years and years because they want to help their partners in the defense contractors for building more missiles, building more military aircraft, building more Navy ships, etc. That has drawn a huge backlash from many people in the military leadership team. Basically, it's kind of like what Eisenhower talked about the military industrial complex and how that's basically fueling the wars. Is the interest of the military contractors that continues that fuels the continuation of these never-ending wars like Afghanistan. We went in 2001 and we're still there almost 20 years later. Also, one of the big things that Trump relies on is support from the military people. We have a couple of very recent, and this was published in the Military Times. How favorable or unfavorable is your view of President Trump? This is August, okay? So you can see they're very favorable. It's very low. Actually, very favorable and favorable. Let's put those two together. And that's about 37%, pretty much like his support in the general population, about, high 33%. Unfavorable and very unfavorable is about almost 50%. So you're looking at 49.9%, basically 50% of the people view him as either unfavorable or very unfavorable. If you're to look at the election today, even Joe Biden would beat Donald Trump by 41.3% over Donald Trump's 37%. Again, this is a survey of military veterans and their families. So here again, a decline of support. This is Donald Trump's support. He used to have a very favorable support back in 2016 when he was elected, but you can see over the years, with everything he's done, you can see that his favorability rating has definitely dropped from a high of 46% to about 37.8%, which again is pretty much in line with the general population. So this is a favorite view of Trump. This is amongst white, non-Hispanics, women, enlisted men, officers, and minorities. You can see that their unfavorable view is pretty high. Like almost a lot of them are over like white, non-Hispanic, unfavorability, women over 50%, men almost 50%, and officers is almost 60%. As you might see in the last day, you've seen a lot of wildfire smoke that has come primarily from the wildfires that are battling the eastern slopes of the Cascades in Eastern Washington. You can see the smoke is pretty intense. You saw it last night. A lot of people could smell it. You could smell the smoke, and a lot of people were closing their windows last night. In addition, we are getting some smoke from the California wildfires that has really devastated that state. Let me show you a couple reports here.
Okay, the smoke that's moving into western Washington right now, it is thick. The air quality around North Bend and Falls City now hitting unhealthy levels. It's coming from the fires in central Washington. This is what it looks like from the top of Snoqualmie Casino, looking back toward Mount Si right now. Just checking some of the air quality sensors around the area. The leading edge of the smoke is just now hitting the Pine Lake area of Sammamish, right at the Issaquah line right there, just north of I-90, and moving east. It's visible from Tukwila, and it's going to be in the Sound here in the next hour. So the air quality is going to get bad through this evening because of that smoke in central Washington. Our winds just continue to pick up. Now, these air quality sensors are a little bit behind, still recording good, but look at what's happening in central Washington. There's our unhealthy air, and the wind arrows leading all of that smoke directly through the Cascades into western Washington. So we have smoke from the fires that have already been burning in central and eastern Washington. We have increasing fire danger west of the Cascades here at home later on tonight through the overnight into early tomorrow morning. 7 p.m., winds in Tacoma could be gusting 30 to 40 miles an hour. We will have 30, 40 mile per hour wind gusts through North Bend. Enumclaw as well. It's going to be rocking and rolling at 11 o'clock tonight. Here is the core of the winds in parts of South and East King County, North and East Pierce County, but it's also going to be windy in Lewis County too. The farther north you go, the winds aren't going to be quite as strong, but it still is going to be gusty throughout the overnight hours into early tomorrow morning, 5 a.m. Winds coming through the passes, 40-plus miles an hour. So this is going to cause some power outages in spots tonight. The smoke is going to be with us, and any fires that start because of any accident tonight or power line going down, those can spread very quickly. So this is a critical time, something we have rarely seen in the month of September around here. 59 to start tomorrow morning. Winds calm down after about mid-morning tomorrow. Highs upper 70s and low 80s. And then the temperatures start to soar. At least we won't have very strong winds Wednesday and Thursday, but highs, records or near records around the area. 88 in Seattle Wednesday, 90 on Thursday. Only slowly cooling off toward 80 degrees by the weekend. Your forecast is always on KIRO7.com.
Wow, 90 degrees on Thursday is going to be kind of a haze. Let's turn to, there was a 22 arrest, basically in a Labor Day clash outside of Seattle's Police Officers Guild headquarters, which is located in SoDo. So let's share this story with you. I hate violence.
A large crowd of anti-police demonstrators clashed with police officers tonight. Some rioters came armed with Molotov cocktails, some of which were recovered by Seattle police. In all, 22 people were arrested for things like arson and assault. KOMO's Joel Moreno was there as it was happening. He's live tonight with what set off orders to disperse. Joel?
Some tense moments tonight, Preston, when demonstrators marched away from this light rail station. They were about 300 strong. Their destination, the police union building, but they were only there for a few minutes before the confrontation turned violent.
Chants outside the police guild quickly gave way to the sound of explosions as officers tried to move in and arrest several demonstrators. Police released this body camera footage where they say an officer was assaulted. It shows a chaotic clash. Police said they also confiscated these unexploded Molotov cocktails that rioters dropped. Another video police released shows how these weapons were being tossed in the streets as the group was being pushed back from the Seattle Police Guild building.
We are in that building, and we have to worry. We know people have been followed home.
Jim Fuda of Crime Stoppers says the restrictions on crowd control weapons leaves officers with fewer options when confronting riots like this.
What happens when that goes away is you have batons, fists, and God forbid the firearms.
Protesters told KOMO News they were demonstrating peacefully when officers moved in to clear them, though no one was willing to go on camera. On social media, the event was billed as an anti-police demonstration. Police say they were repeatedly pelted with rocks, bottles, and explosives, but no officers ended up hurt.
Now, you already mentioned those 22 initial arrests. Later in the night, police say they took 5 more people into custody while trying to impound a vehicle. Back to you.
So hate to see the violence that has happened again. We definitely support Black Lives Matter and police reform in terms of de-escalation, in terms of hiring or reallocating some police funds to hire people that are social workers, that are mental health workers that can do interventions on calls and not send Seattle police officers on every 911 call. That's definitely not the right tool. But again, peaceful demonstrations is what should happen, not violent demonstrations that happened yesterday. So everyone have a great rest of the week. It's a short week because of Labor Day yesterday, and we will see you tomorrow. Enjoy the weather.